What certifications can help you get a government job? I looked through hundreds of job announcements, pulling out either the required or the desired certifications in order to help you have an edge when it comes to getting a federal government job. Most government jobs do not require certifications, but if you still want to take some sort of formal education to get a certificate, then what I would do is look at the job series that you're applying to. Let's say it's finance. If you're applying to finance positions, you probably want to get a certificate in finance or something related. Speaking of finance, the first job series is the finance job series, specifically the 0510 and the 0511, which is an accountant or an auditor. And a lot of these jobs, they want you to have a CPA or they want you to be a certified internal auditor. If you want to get a finance job, but you do not have a CPA or you do not want to be an auditor, I would focus on the 0501 Finance Administration job series or the 0560, which is a budget analyst. Next, let's look at IT, which is in the 2210 job series. Now, there's a dozen different type of IT specialists when you're looking into the federal government. And as I was looking through all of these announcements, there were probably close to a dozen certificates or more. And here are the main ones: CompTIA A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CASP, GCIA, Certified Ethical Hacker, CISM, CISSP, CCISO. Interestingly enough, when you're looking through the job announcement, the certifications, they're not in the education section. You would think they would be in the education section, but they're not. They're not even in the specialized experience section. They're in a section that's right between those two paragraphs. Okay, listen, if you're having a hard time getting a government job, one way that can give you an advantage is by attending virtual hiring fairs or virtual hiring information sessions. Most of these are on USAJobs.gov. You can find them, you can register for them, but some of them are not. Some agencies, they don't report their information to USAJobs.gov. So what I have started to do is I include hiring events as a section of my newsletter. I send it out every month and it's completely free. If you're interested in that, click the link in the description below. All right, so next let's look at the 0300 job series. This is mainly administration, program management, and analytical type jobs. And most of these jobs, they do not require any certification. However, there are a couple of 0300 jobs that have FACP, PM, and PMP as desirables. It's not a hard requirement, but it's worded in a way that it would be an indicator that you are qualified if you have one of these certificates. The PMP is a project management professional, and it's accredited by the PMI. This is largely a private sector accreditation. It's used often in the private sector, and there are certain prerequisites that you need to attain before you can even sit and take the test. And the test costs a lot of money also. The FACP-PM is the Federal Acquisition Certification for Program and Project Managers Certificate. There are 3 levels for this certification, and it focuses a lot on acquisition. But you really wouldn't be given the opportunity to take the certificate until you're a federal government employee. So you're going to have to wait. If you have your eye on the 0340 job series, which is program management, you do not need to have any of these certificates. So you can just rely on your experience and apply and qualify based on that. When it comes to 0301, 0303, 0341, and 0343, those job series, they're largely administrative. You do not need to have a certificate there. But I get asked the question, like, if I wanted a certificate, which one would you recommend? So for these administrative type jobs, these are some of the certificates I'd probably recommend. I would recommend Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel, Administrative Professional, and something in data analytics. Next, let's look at the 0200 job series. This is for human resources, HR type jobs. And when it comes to HR, in the private sector, there's a lot of certifications. There's PHR, there's SHRM, there's SPHR. So with all of these certifications, I would tell you that government HR is different from private sector, and you probably do not need to have any of these certificates. I personally attained a PHR. When I was leaving the military, I thought it would help me, so I went ahead and I took the coursework necessary and I sat and took the test. But there are a few exceptions. Out of the hundreds of job announcements I looked through, I found 2 that actually listed PHR and 6 that listed SHRM. So as for the demand, if you were to pick one in this moment in time, I would say SHRM. Now let's look at the 1102 job series, which is contract management. And a lot of positions are looking for COR or program manager certification. COR is Contracting Officer's Representative. There are a lot of different levels for this one too. And this is another certification that you're not really going to have exposure to, you're not really going to have access to if you're not already in the government. If you are in the government, regardless of your job series, sometimes these opportunities, they present themselves. They'll ask people in the office, who wants to go and take COR level 1? If you raise your hand, you send the email, you could get this type of training. If you're on the outside, if you're not in the government and you're trying to get into the government, then I would lean into your private sector experience when it comes to managing contracts. If I didn't mention a specific certification that you have or you're interested in, then go on to USAJobs.gov. In the search bar on the upper left-hand corner, type in the acronym for your certificate and run a search. That will actually find job announcements that have that certificate as a desirable or as a requirement. So run that search. Keep in mind also that most of these positions, they don't have a college requirement. But if you took courses in your degree program that's relevant to the job announcement, you want to identify that on your resume under relevant coursework. Also, do not discount the free certifications that you can earn on something like LinkedIn Learning. You have a 30-day free trial. You can earn a couple of certificates on that platform. Overall, I still strongly believe that when it comes to experience or education, the experience is going to outweigh education. If you have somebody with 5 years of strong, relevant experience applying for a job, then you have another guy with 10 years of experience, but it's not really relevant, but he has a boatload of certifications. The guy with 5 years is going to win out. The relevant experience will win the day. If you are still looking for a federal government job, I did a live stream recently. I answered over a dozen questions about the federal hiring process. If that interests you, then I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.